My idea for a cultural artifact is an image of a footprint, specifically a footprint in the sand, captioned with the word service. A footprint is the impression left by a foot or shoe on the ground or a surface. To make it a little more general, it is the impact you make on a place. The footprint I want to leave is one of service for the marginalized of society. One of my professional and personal goals is to work with underserved populations. These are often, but not limited to, people of minority cultural backgrounds. This is especially true in larger cities where there is more diversity and unfortunately more segregation. A footprint in the sand is soon washed away by water. Nonetheless, we continue leaving footprints in the sand for the enjoyment of the walk. The impact we make through our service may soon be forgotten by those around us, yet we continue to serve for the enjoyment of serving. Another population that is underserved is the impoverished and homeless. Again, more common in larger cities and may overlap with cultural minorities. There are an estimated 3.5 million homeless people in the United States according to Lattanzi, and healthcare plays a different role in their lives than the general population. Healthcare may not be sought out unless it is a life or death situation, or they may be more likely to focus on immediate health concerns rather than long-term consequences of their health behaviors. Mental health and nutrition can play a larger role, along with communication barriers, whether it be due to language, education level, or other factors. Lattanzi states in the beginning of chapter 18, in order to better understand clients who experience homelessness, the physical therapist needs to understand the socio-political interconnections and complicated circumstances that surround those who become homeless. A great example of what service looks like is from the book of John, chapter 13. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. I think the footprint of service highlights three of the APTA's core values. Compassion and caring. Compassion is the desire to identify with or sense something of another's experience. Caring is the concern, empathy, and consideration for the needs and values of others. Duty, the commitment to meeting one's obligations to provide effective physical therapist services to patients and clients, to serve the profession, and to positively influence the health of society. Social responsibility, the promotion of a mutual trust between the profession and the larger public that necessitates responding to societal needs for health and wellness. Here is some feedback I received from one of the PTs on my clinical. From a rehab perspective, would a handprint be a more symbolic artifact for the impact you are striving to have? Your hands are going to help you more people than your feet. I think a handprint could also be a good cultural artifact because PTs do a lot with their hands. I think I still prefer the footprint over the handprint due to its connection to faith, particularly as it relates to service, as in the account of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. He also said, how do you plan to carry out the core values you have listed? What actions will you take to meet those values? In under a year, we are going to be looking for or starting jobs. This means having to make choices about where to work, and I plan to take these core values into account to help with this decision. I think our decisions about where to work should be influenced by where there is a need for our services. As mentioned earlier, larger cities usually have a more culturally diverse and underserved population. I think the third thing that this PT said was, I think the core value of inclusion would work well for you to add. Inclusion occurs when the PT and PTA create a welcoming and equitable environment for all. PTs and PTAs are inclusive when they commit to providing a safe space, elevating diverse and minority voices, acknowledging personal biases that may impact patient care, and taking a position of anti-discrimination.